lovelies, how are you? Happy Tuesday. I hope you're all okay. Hope everyone is well. Hope you had a good weekend. Sorry, we're just a couple of minutes late because I had a technical malfunction. One of the cameras wasn't working. I had to reboot it all. It's all done now though, all sorted. Although I'm on different numbers, so that's going to confuse the bejesus out of me, isn't it? Right, what was I going to say? Can't remember. I've had a really busy morning. We've had lovely Michael in from EQS, who is one of our reps. So we saw all the new Liberty that's going to be coming out next year, and just talking about some stuff that we're doing for Hachanda as well. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do the second part of the Gnomes Away table runner. We did the gnome block last time. I have written the pattern in total. It's all finished it yesterday. So that will be going on the website this afternoon. As soon as I get back from here, I'll pop it on the website, so you'll be able to buy the pattern, which will have the whole thing in it. It'll have the gnome block and the pieced blocks and the borders and everything. But we're also, it's a really easy little pieced block, so we're going to have a little look at some free motion quilting as well. I'm going to take you through how I would quilt this. So hi everyone, hi Eileen, hi Anne, hi Claire, hello my darlings. I'm sorry, I was just suddenly checking I was on the I was on the White Gecko page and not my own page then for a second. I was like, oops, what am I doing? So yeah, been busy morning. Haven't got anywhere near as much done as I was hoping, but it's fine. It's all good. I've got this evening. I'm nearly ready for a Chanda. Not quite. I've got a lot Crate and Craft. I've got a lot going on there on this show. We've got 2 shows of our own. I'm doing one for EQS as well. So I've got a 7 a.m, a 9 and an 11, and then I've got app filming to do afterwards as well. So yeah, loads and loads going on. Hi Nikki, how are you? Did everyone else boil over the weekend? It was like a little heat wave, wasn't it? It was gorgeous. We had some amazing ladies come and join us for the Tuffet class. You might have seen Sarah's post. Yeah, really beautiful class. We had some finished tuffets, or almost, and some mostly almost finished tuffets. So yeah, it was really lovely. I love seeing all the colour variations. It's great, absolutely great. So I'm going to crack on. I'm going to go to the overhead and show you. So this is where we are with the little table runner. Okay, hang on, let me just open him out. So I've only done 3 for size. Okay, hang on, I'm going to have to sort the lights out again. How dare it be so sunny in October? Hang on, let me go that way. Will that stop it being... There we go, that's better. I've still got a bit of a light streak across it, but you're going to have to put up with that. So I've just done 3 for my little table runner. I've written the pattern with 5 gnomes, okay? But this is really easy to adapt, whether you want it bigger or smaller. You could make placemats. They'd be really cute little placemats, just, you know, if you did them like that with a green border or whatever colour border around. Lots and lots. Got you on the plan. Ah, thank you, darling. So what I'm going to show you today is just this little pieced checkerboard border, a nice quick and easy way to do that. And I've used that in the corners as well, just to sort of take that through. The joy of this pattern is that you can absolutely decide what size you want it. You could just one gnome if you wanted. I think he'd be quite cute by himself. Make gorgeous little placemats, wouldn't they? I think that'd be quite nice as a placemat. But I'm also going to take you through a bit of free motion quilting. I don't know if you can see, I'm hoping you can see it on the camera, but I've done some free motion quilting into his beard to kind of give his beard a little bit of dimension, and then quilted into some of the areas as well. And hopefully, really simple little quilting, hopefully give you a bit of few tips and confidence to have a go yourself, because you can absolutely do it on your own machine. Okay, so what's that? Oh, it's just Josh leaving. We need to say a massive, actually, let me just come back here a second. We need to say a massive happy birthday to our Drew as well. So Drew, who will all know was cameraman all through lockdown. Drew and then Alex. It's Drew's birthday today. He is 27? I can't remember. Is he 26 or 27? 96. He was born 27. Oh, God, they're all getting so old. I'm feeling very old. They're all like round in that 30 mark now. It's not fun. There we go. Right. Okay. Let me put this light on as well. 2 seconds. There we go. Try and get some proper light in this place. So we made the gnome last week. we're going to make this little pieced bit first, which is nice and easy to do, and then we're going to do some free motion, okay? So what you will need is from your... so I'm using the same colours as the bodies of my gnomes, but you can use any. You want little strips that are 1.5 inches wide. I'm using really tiny strips because I've already done mine, but they need to be 1.5 inches wide. If you're making a 5 gnome width, they'll need to be 30 inches, so basically cut width of fabric. And you'll also need 1.5 in your background fabric too, okay? We're only going to do one little tiny bit just to show you. And then for the top and the bottom of the pieced sections, you need some little rectangles, which are 2.5 by 1 3/4. And they're going to go on the top and bottom of them just to make them long enough for the block. You remember him announcing who was watching? Indeed, he did. He used to go through all your names because I couldn't read them because he was on the phone. It was when we were using just the phone and the gimbal, his little toy. So we're going to put these right sides together and we're just going to stitch a 1/4 inch. This is a really, you've done this lots and lots of times, really easy way of doing checkerboards of any sort. You can do it with any size strips. Oh, I've just realised I've got the wrong foot on. 2 seconds. Let's drop that one off and pop this one on. There we go, right foot on now, and then tell it it's the right foot because it won't like it otherwise, and it'll tell me off because this machine is cleverer than I am. Where's the foot? There it is. Okie doke. Right, so 1/4 inch seam allowance, like that, all the way down. Now, I've never been a massive fan of doing free motion on my domestic machine because I'm not very good at it, frankly. I don't practice enough and I'm not very good at it. And I could never quite get the tension right or anything like that. And then it would put me off doing it and I'd end up picking it. And so since we've had Daphne, I've tended to do all my free motion on Daphne. I love free motion embroidery on a domestic machine, but the free motion quilting, I've never really got my head round. It's just not something I've practiced. However, now I've got, oh, hang on, this one's too high, isn't it? Let me just go down a bit. There we go. Now I've got this, which is the stitch regulator for this machine, which came with the machine, the Benina one. It's, oh my God, it was just like a different kettle of fish yesterday. I was playing around with it yesterday. I was like, this is brilliant. So back over to the overhead. I'll show you in a moment when we get there. And then you're going to iron it towards the dark fabric, okay? Whichever the darker fabric is, just iron it towards the darker fabric. These super simple little pieced elements. And you could use up all your tiny little scraps for these, okay? Now obviously these are 1.5 inch strips because that's what this pattern requires. But if you're making any sort of checkerboard, or 4 patches or anything, basically you want them to end, whatever size you started your strip. So these were 1.5 strips. So I'm going to cut 1.5 inch pieces down, okay, to make my little 2 patches. If you started with 3 inch strips either side, you would cut 3 inch down, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Or 2.5, if you're using a jelly roll, 2.5s, you'd then cut 2.5 inch strips. Whatever size strip you started with, that's what size pieces you're going to cut. And you're just going to subcut these strip sets all the way down like this. There's one. I've got my dodgy rotary cutter. Let me swap. So because I want them to be 1.5, I'm going to start at the 4.5 inch line and move down. Oh, there we go. Cuts now. And then 3, like that. And then 1.5. However, you need 6 of these little pieces, maybe in different colours. They don't have to be in different colours, but in different colours per piece. So can you see here? So this little dividing strip, you're going to need 6. I've used different colours in mine, but you don't have to. All my cameras are very wonky today. I don't know what on earth is going on. And then we're going to put this little bit in between. Obviously I've done 3, so I only needed 2 of them. If you're doing 5, you'd need 4 of them. If you're making it longer and you're doing 6, etc. You're just going to make as many of these as you need to go between your gnomes. All right. Once you've cut them all up, you can then decide on what colour. Now I'm just going to use the same colour ones for safety because I want to get onto not safety, for quickness, because I want to get onto the free motion for you. And then you're just going to pop them right sides together, nest that seam up, like that. Okay, and because you've always ironed to the dark side, it works. We're going to stitch down, you stitch down 1/4 of an inch and you've got your 4 patch like that. You would then add another one on and another and another and another to get your 6. Okay, and then you're going to add your little rectangles to the top and the bottom. All right, so I know there's only 4 in there, bear with me, I'm not going to do any more cutting. So you'd have your 6 like that, and that's your little pieced bit, okay, which goes between your gnomes. All right, it could all be the same colour, it could be different, it depends on what you're doing. Once you've done those, okay, you're going to put your gnomes out with your little pieces in between. All right, however many gnomes you want to make, you're then going to put your little pieces in between. All right, the borders are just 2.5 inch strips, so I measured however long my final piece was. Again, it's the measurements I did for this are different to what the pattern is, because the pattern is 5, okay, 5 gnomes, because it's a much longer table runner. The 5 gnomes, it was 48 along here, this wasn't. All right, but you've got top and bottom pieces, which are 2.5 by the length of your table runner, and then on your side pieces, this is the height of your table runner, which was 9 inches, with 2 little 4 patches on the side. So it's 2.5 inches wide. You're going to add your little 4 patches to the end and then join them to the end. All right. You can then add another border if you want to, but you don't have to. It looks just as cute ending at that point there. All right. I just chose to add another border because I wanted mine to be a weeny bit wider to fit my table. I wanted it to be a weeny bit wider, but I didn't want it to be as long as 5. Okay, because this is going on a smaller Christmas table. But what I want to talk to you about is a bit of free motion. Okay, basically. Does everybody understand how to put the runner together after you've done your gnomes? All right, it's relatively simple. It's all in the pattern as well. Okay, I've done a full pattern, which I will put on the website for you. But what I wanted to first have a little look at today, more in depthly, is the free motion, because it's not something we've ever really talked about on here. We've done free motion embroidery, but not free motion quilting. So all I've done is I've obviously basted it up, made a little quilt sandwich with the top, some wadding, and I've just got some calico on the back. It's the back of a runner. And we're going to go over to the machine, and I'm going to switch over. Now, if you don't have this machine, and if you don't have a stitch regulator, you can still absolutely 1000% do your free motion quilting. All right, I would drop your feed dogs. Now on mine, it's a button on the side of the machine on the right hand side. Sometimes it's a button at the back here. Okay, sometimes you need a plate to cover your feed dogs. Whichever your version is, look at your manual and have a little look. Hi Ali, how are you, darling? Right, I'm going to drop my feed dogs, which is just a button here. Now, on most machines, if you press the button, the feed to get them back up, the feed dogs do not come up until you do a full turn. You've got to do a full turn of your wheel, and then they pop back up. Okay, I don't know if you could see that, but I've had a few people worry about their machine thinking they've broken it, that the feed dogs won't come back up. Turn that wheel, do a full manual turn of the wheel, and they pop back up. So pop my feed dogs back down. I'm going to put my stitch regulator on, but you can just use your normal free motion foot, which will have a spring like this one here on it, and some sort of foot. It might be an open toe foot, it might be a circular foot. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. It might be way too close to the camera. But pop it on, okay? Put your free motion foot on. I'm going to just put this one on. Oh, come on. Hang on, I've got to get it. Come on. Why can't I do that today? There we go. There we go, like that. All right, so foot's on. Now, I am very, very lucky that I have a stitch regulator on this, so it has to be plugged in as well. So I've plugged that one in. If yours doesn't, it's fine. This is just about practice. All right, so what we're going to do to start with is we're just going to practice on a little bit of a quilt sandwich that I've made up. Okay, a little bit of scrap fabric with a bit of wadding in between. Practice, practice, practice. All right, first thing I want to do is I want to drop my foot down. Okay, sorry, got to tell this machine that I've got the stitch regulator on, otherwise it won't work. It's going to go no at me. Where are you? Where are you? It's number 40 something. There it is there, 42. Okay. I would suggest as well that you drop your stitch length right down as well when you're doing it. So most people put it down to literally on 0 because you're the one that's going to be manipulating the fabric and doing it. But some people like it on what, half or 1. Entirely up to you. Have a little practice before you have a go at this. Are you all still with me, guys? I hope you are. The other thing I would suggest is you drop your needle in and then bring the needle back. Ooh. Why is it not bringing up my bobbin thread? Oh, hang on. What have I done? Have I done something wrong? Hang on. Let me try again. Right, needle down. Do it manually. There we go. Bring that bobbin thread up. Pull that top thread. Oh, hang on. Sorry, guys. I've done something and it's... Why are you misbehaving? You worked beautifully yesterday, but no, today you're going to misbehave. Bring that bobbin thread up. Right. Needle back up. Try again. Sorry, so here we go. Technical issues, isn't it? Always the way. Right, needle down. And needle back up. There it is. There's my bobbin thread there. Bring your bobbin thread up. Okay, you get less little horrible knots at the bottom, a bit like we do with June Taylor, okay? And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to start stitching. Now remember, because the feed dog's down, we're really used to stitching that way, but you can stitch in any way when you're doing free motion because you've got nothing dragging the fabric through. Hi guys! So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start stitching. Okay, we'll just get those things out of the way. I didn't. After telling you guys to put your stitch length down, I didn't do it. There we go. So, and what I'm doing is I'm now manipulating the machine like that. And you can go in any direction. Alright? Any direction at all. Have a little practice. Right? You can go really small. You can make bigger movements. Just have a practice, okay? Because I think it's worth having a play with your free motion. Because on smaller pieces, you're trying to do free motion on a big quilt, on a domestic machine, it's not easy, okay? Because you are, there we go. So hopefully you can see that. Can you see? So I can move in any direction. I'm pushing and pulling and moving the fabric, all right? You don't have to move. Like if I want to go around the corner, I haven't got to pivot the fabric. I'm just going to move it around the corner because I can move it in that direction, all right? Okay, so if I want to go this way, I don't have to stop and turn it and go that way. I can just move the fabric wherever you want. So it is all about practice. It is all about just, having a little play and seeing how your machine works, all right? So what I'm going to do now is we're just going to have a little look at the gnomes, all right? I'll show you this actually, let's just come back over here a second. So you can see, I've done it white on black, so hopefully you can see well, guys, you've got that, you can move it in any direction, all right? You can move it in whatever way you want. You're the one making the fabric do what you want it to do, okay? Make it look so easy. Honestly, it's a lot of this. I am not very good at free motion. I'm really not. It's something I haven't. On Daphne, I can do it on Daphne. On a domestic, it's something that I have practiced and practiced and practiced in the past. I haven't done it for a very long time. I have to say, the stitch regulator on the Benina is a godsend. It was transformative last night. I was doing it. I didn't have to mess with the tension at all because sometimes you have to mess with your tension, and it just made life really, really easy. But do this. Make up some little tiny scraps. Don't try and free motion a whole quilt on your first go. Do some placemats. Do just some scraps of fabric, little tiny pieces like that, and just fill it with squiggles and kind of practice until you've got that muscle memory. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just fill in some of this this gnome. So what I did with his beard was just kind of gave him sort of some dimensions, sort of slightly whiskery type things. I did just some simple up and down free motion on there, and then I tried some little loop-de-loopy bits on there. All right, so we're going to do that. So back over we go. Now, because of the width of all of this, I don't want this blocking up here, so I'm turning him upside down to do this side. That's fine. You know, it doesn't have to be the right way up, because I'm going to be pushing and pulling in all directions. So again, I'm going to start about here, put the needle down, okay, and off I go. And what I'm doing is just pushing. Now this is quite a nice easy one to start with, because it's just backwards and forwards motions, which oh, the needle came unthreaded. Oh, I tell you what, there's me saying, oh, it's fine, just practice, practice, practice. Don't. Why is that coming threaded? Oh, you've been a rat bag today, aren't you? You worked beautifully yesterday. Oh, I can see why. It's because I've run out of bobbin. It's not the needle coming threaded at all. I've run out of bobbin. Hang on, I've got another one here. Let's just get that new one in. There we go. So, into there. Right, let's try that again. Needle definitely threaded. Yes, it is. There we go. Get rid of some of that excess. I've only done 3 gnomes so far, but that's okay, lovely. It's still a nice size table runner with 3 gnomes. You know, you don't have to do all 5. You might decide that that's what you want to do. Okay, so down, back up, pull that bobbin thread up. There we go. Got a bobbin thread to work with now. Okay, so this is a nice easy one to start with, because it's just pushing and pulling backwards and forwards. You know, and nothing, it's not, you know, it's not particularly neat, it's not particularly accurate, mine. I'm just pushing and pulling backwards and forwards. But it is a little bit easier than trying to manipulate a whole thing, you know, and turning and moving it round and having to pivot. Being able to move backwards and forwards easily. And I'm just sort of rounding off the corner. I'm kind of using the foot as a guide of how wide I want them to be spaced. They're starting to go a bit wonky, so I'm just going to try and get that back up. There we go. To there and to there. Okay, and then the nice thing about this is I can then travel along. So I'm pushing it to the right like that, so I can travel along that seam, because I don't have to mess with my threads and all there. And then I'm going to go down this one like that. I'm trying to keep this straightish. It's not very straight, to be honest, but it's good enough. It's a table runner after all, and I don't do a lot of free motion on the domestic, so this is more of a practicey piece. It was a good way for me to try out this stitch regulator. I know you can get walking feet with stitch regulators built in for other machines. It's not just Bernina's. So go and speak to Jane B if you're local. Right, so I'm all the way down, but I'm going to backtrack along that line. It's not exactly on that line, but it'll do. And then do this little bit here. It's a bit boring for you guys to watch, to be honest. And all the way down that bit. But you could. This is a really easy little pattern to do, because it is just backwards and forwards. And it kind of reminded me of sort of, right, and then, hang on, see, this is getting a bit much here, so roll that up there. And hopefully you can see this and my hands aren't in the way. I'm trying to keep my hands right out of the way for you, but it's not easy to, there we go. Like that. Down that way, nearly there to the top of the next gnome's hat. Definitely gone a bit wonky there. It's fine. It's like icicles. They're not supposed to be all the same size and shape, are they? There we go. So that's that little bit there done. So I've just filled that in. don't know if you can see, guys, but I've just filled that in, going backwards and forwards. It gives it a nice different look, but you haven't got to worry too much about moving a lot. We're going to have a little go at his beard as well. So basically, I want his beard shape. So you could draw these in. If you've got, a washable marker or a Frixion or something, draw them in the kind of the shapes that you want. If you want, if you're worried about sort of freehanding it, I think, beard hair is going to be a bit organic, isn't it? And it's going to be a bit crazy. So I didn't bother with that, just freehanding it. But it's definitely worth drawing in so you've got a vague guideline if you fancy it. Okay, so, but again, with this one, I'm going to try and give him some sort of curly beard hair. So I'm just thinking about the shapes that I want to draw. Get that thread out of the way so it doesn't get caught. Like that. And then these are a bit more moustachy, so they're going to curl up at the end like a bit of a handlebar moustache. So I'm just drawing those curls in like that. Okay. I don't know if this is helpful at all. I don't know if you can really see what I'm doing. Let me just try moving the camera in and up a little bit. Hopefully that might help. And then I'm going to track along to get down the other side of his beard. Just need to add my stitch a little bit. Like that, down the side of his nose. And then I can do the other side of his beard then. So that one's going to go down, right down to the tip. Like that. And can you see how I'm kind of pushing and pulling it? So I'm never stopping and pivoting to make it in the direction. I'm just pushing or pulling it in the direction I want it to go. It's actually easier the faster you go as well. Don't be scared of a bit of speed with this as well, all right? So you definitely want to try this. Brilliant, Carol. And like I said, try on try on some scrap fabric first. It's, right, I'm just tracking down because I realised that I want another little bit in there. There we go. Put another little curl in there. Don't be worried about speed with free motion. The faster you go, it's actually a lot easier to control. You will kind of want fast feet, slower hands. Okay, so I've kind of done those shapes into his beard like that. I've finished him all. Okay, I've finished off all the bits I want to do with the free motion. So we're going to go back over to the overhead. It's only a little taster, like I said, ladies and gents. It's just a little taster of, and if you've never done free motion before, actually, so that's the one I've just done there. Okay, so you can see that just gives his beard a little bit of dimension. If you don't want to do free motion, you could do some hand stitching in there. Draw them out and then hand quilt into it to give his beards a little bit of, get rid of that thread. A little bit of personality. That's the word I'm trying to think of. I'm just giving them, a little bit. And none of them are the same, but that's okay. On here, just on the bottom here, I just played with some loop-de-loops. But again, you can do as little or as much as you want. I will probably now go in with some straight line quilting. I'll change to a red thread and just maybe outline his hat like that. I don't need to do the bodies, any work on the bodies if I don't want to, because I've got enough quilting round him for that to be fine. But then I will probably shadow quilt. Oh, sorry, I've got hiccups. Just some shadow quilting round those green borders and then shadow quilt round his hat as well, just to finish him off. But have a little play with free motion. It's not as scary as you think it is, okay? If you've never done it before, the first time you do it, it will feel very, very odd. And that idea that you're the one pushing and pulling and you don't have to stop and turn to go left, you can just pull it left or push it left or whatever and right, does feel odd. Okay, it will feel odd, but make up some little sandwiches like this, okay, and have a little practice. Make sure you've got the right needle for your thread. That's really important when you're doing, well, it's really important anyway, but even more important when you're doing free motion, because otherwise your tension can go right out. But it's a nice way on a little project like this. It's a nice way to have a play with something where, you know, you can just add a little bit in, and it's not as daunting as doing a whole quilt or anything, you know. And as you can see here, this is where I just went up and down, that sort of feeling of icicles. That's what I was trying to do. You know, I could have made them a lot wobblier. The other thing you could do if you don't want to do free motion at all is just use the wavy stitch on your machine. So very often machines have got a stitch that literally stitches a wave. Almost all of them have got a wavy stitch like that. You could use that down his beard just to give him a bit of dimension. Okay, so have a little play, have a little try. It's a relatively quick one today, guys, because it's 1:30 already. So if I come back over to here, hello, relatively quick little one today, because most of the work is in the gnomes. That's where all the piecing is. You don't have to do these little pieced blocks, those little ones in between. That could just be a solid piece if you want. You know, it would look just as cute. But I just thought it looked quite nice with the gnomes, that bit. And then add as many borders or as many or few gnomes as you want as well. But if you do have a go at it, make sure you put some pictures onto Gigglers for us. If you do have a go at the free motion quilting, like I said, have a practice on a scrap bit first before you ever go on your main your gnomes. But yeah, have a try and see. The pattern full pattern with the whole thing, borders and everything, will be on the website as soon as I get back over to the shop. Okay. That's it now then for us this week, because we've only got one this week because I'm travelling tomorrow, so there won't be one tomorrow night. But then I've got 3 shows on Create and Craft on Thursday for you to watch me witter on if you want to. And then we will be back next week with Tuesday and Wednesday, because we're then at Malvern from Thursday. One of these days we'll stop travelling. We'll get there eventually. But yeah, so have a little go at your gnomes, and we will see you, or hopefully you'll watch on Create and Craft. If not, I will see you next week, my darlings. Have a lush week and take care. Bye.